Number 19, Texas Tech on the road at number 11, Utah, or according to our APP poll. Let us know how you think we did. But the Texas Tech Red Raiders are on the road, Rice-Eccles Stadium, to take on the Utah Utes, who are 3.5-point favorites. This is the 11 a.m. game on Fox. Trey, this is going to be, I think, one of the best offensive shootouts of the week, with two teams that have been nothing but efficient to start 2025.
Yeah, and I think I lean towards it being more offensive as well. But I don't want to sleep on the defenses. They're both playing a lot of teams that have been unproven, right? They have not been tested. Utah stepped out of the home stadium at least. They played the UCLA team that we just got done talking about and kind of put the first nail in the Foster coffin. And then they did go up to Laramie last week and that's always just a weird place to play. So they have tested themselves maybe a little bit more than Texas Tech. But these are both teams that are top 25 in scoring offense and defense, regardless of competition, especially for Texas Tech in years past. You will definitely take that when you consider some of the teams that have come in and put 40 and 50 burgers on them, even at home. So, yeah, these are two teams that have just utterly destroyed inferior competition. And this is the first big test. And I love that we're getting this right out of the gate in Big 12 play, because it's going to go a long, long way towards deciding who is going to ultimately end up in Arlington.
Who do you feel like has more to prove in this game? Because Texas Tech, as you mentioned, hasn't even left the friendly confines. We don't really have a great sense of what this roster is capable of doing against, an established power conference football team, another contender, if you will, right? Like I saw Texas Tech fans trash talking some other fan base, and one of the lines was, bro, my quarterback hasn't even seen the fourth quarter yet. And I got to thinking, like, yes, that's a flex, sure. Great one-liner, bro. But on the other hand, like, now you're getting into Big 12 play, and now you've got your three biggest games, correct me if I'm wrong, are all away from home, including this one in Utah. Suddenly, I'm more concerned that Texas Tech might have taken it too easy on their starters in the name of protecting health, and we already had a Baron Morton injury scare in week 1. But I'm wondering if Tech is kind of acclimated to the season enough to where, yes, Devin Dampier and Utah have a lot to prove as well, but I don't know. This feels like it could go either way to me.
Yeah, I think that's spot on, because both of these teams do have a lot to prove. Utah has fallen off from the high watermark that they had out in the Pac-12. Obviously, last season leaves a bad taste in a lot of people's mouth, but you see they win a couple games in dominating fashion, and look how high they are, not just in our all podcast poll, but in the AP poll and in the coaches poll. They pretty much immediately regained that reputation that they had for so many years out in the Pac-12. For Texas Tech, it feels like voters across the polls, the college football public in general, are just kind of taking this still cautiously optimistic approach with them, right? We all know the storylines from the offseason. We all know the transfer portal cash that they dumped into this class. Cody Campbell is on our TVs like every commercial break reminding us that we need to save college sports. So we know the storylines with Texas Tech, but we're still just waiting for them to actually prove that all that investment, all that, money that they poured into this program is going to pay off. And they have to prove it on the road in probably the toughest place to play in their entire conference. When you factor in crowd, when you factor in pedigree of Utah at home and how tough it is historically to beat them there, and the altitude going up from Lubbock, Texas to Salt Lake City, that's a big difference in altitude. So I think Tech has a lot to prove in this one, and Utah does as well. Like, Devin Dampier has been a lot better taking care of the football. He has really done a good job of not playing with the reckless abandon that he had to play with at New Mexico. I was really concerned about that with him coming in, because he had to be everything for the Lobos last year. Doesn't have to do that at Utah, and he's really done a nice job of adjusting, not trying to play hero ball all the time. So he still has quite a bit to prove as well, but Tech, a lot of people are still in wait and see mode with them. And I just know that if they lose this one, even if it's a close one, the talking heads are going to be all over the place talking about, the $25 million class can't get it done. They're still losing these big games. And I should have looked this up. I can't remember the last time Tech was in a top 25 matchup, unless one is slipping my mind, because they've been solid, but not top 25 solid for quite some time under Joey Mack.
Well, if you want to look that up, I can maybe stall for you a little bit.
Real quick. Yeah, I'll go look it up real quick.
One of the big questions coming in for me on Utah's side, and we talked about this in the preview that we did together. Devin Dampier, can he make the jump from New Mexico, Operation Lobo, going up to Utah? Can he be as dynamic and as explosive as we saw for the Lobos, and all the while keep care of the football and keep that offense kind of on schedule, on rhythm? And so far, 8 touchdowns, no turnovers. He did pass that test early against UCLA for whatever that's worth. On the other end, though, the Tech road struggles, Trey, are well documented, right? And if Joey Mack has had a bugaboo of his tenure at Texas Tech, it's his inability to win consistently on the road. Now, they picked off like Iowa State last year, for example. Very random, found a way to win that one in the slop, in the mire. But it's felt like when all conditions are kind of equal and the college football gods don't feel like sprinkling some Big 12 chaos in, he's 2-5 at ranked opponents. And the Red Raiders have a losing record in true road games under Joey McGuire. So to that point where, yes, Tech finding a way to win on the road, much like our team and Texas A&M, is a part of the narrative. I don't think I'm ready to, write off or say the season can't be different if Tech loses to Utah, but the data point where the defense steps up and has a backbone and can defend the pass and the run, that would be so critical to Texas Tech accruing not only kind of stature inside the Big 12, but also building a Big 12 resume and a resume with their record that would speak to an at-large bid if they don't go on to win the conference championship. Because I know the friends in Lubbock certainly feel like their roster is talented enough to be in the top 12 if they're not the final team in Arlington hoisting that trophy.
So it looks like if my research is correct, the last top 25 matchup Tech was involved in was September 29th, 2018, when they were ranked 25th and they hosted number 12 West Virginia, lost 42-34 in Lubbock. So it's been a minute since this spotlight has been on the Texas Tech Red Raiders. You're absolutely right with what you just said, though. This is a big, big data point for not just the Big 12 conference race, but playoff at large spots. Can the conference... They need to minimize the losses outside of these big head-to-head matchups, right? They have 3 big road games, like you mentioned off the top. To make sure that they are in Arlington playing for a spot, they need to probably win 2 of the 3. So the season's definitely not over if they lose this one. But with all the crazy tiebreakers that could come in, the fact that you are going head-to-head on the road with teams that you're going to be up against for one of those spots in Arlington, to guarantee that you're in, you got to win 2 out of 3. So to not put yourself up against the wall for the rest of the year, got to take care of business in Salt Lake City. As for the pick, because we've stalled a lot and not taking a stance here, so I'll get us towards the picks. I think I'm leaning the home team in this one, and it pains me to say it, but I think I'm leaning Utah minus 3.5. I think this is going to be a fantastic game. It's going to be, the other factor that we haven't mentioned is it's 11 a.m. Central. This game's kicking off 10 a.m. local time in Salt Lake City. So that's going to be a really interesting storyline to follow. And look, we sell out for TV dollars. We get what we get, right? But yeah. I think I lean Utah at home. I think they have a little bit more proven commodity against just a little bit better competition at this point in the season. But I think this is probably, at this point, for my money, a preview of the Big 12 championship in Arlington. I think these two teams, if I had to put money on it right now, I think these two teams are meeting again in Arlington in December.
Yeah, to my eye test, it feels like these are the two most complete teams. Again, we'll see what happens when they certainly take a step up in competition. I like Utah to win this game outright, but I'm going to take Texas Tech plus the 3.5. I do believe in both of these defenses. Obviously, Utah is known for that. Texas Tech spent a fortune to go out and get pass rush, to get guys to help in the secondary. But I think both of these teams at their core are going to be offensive-centric teams this season. So I'm going to lean into that. I'm going to say 41-38 kind of vibes, and I'm going to go ahead and say Utah wins this game. Closing note on Tech. I looked up their schedule just to make sure that we were indeed correct about the 3-game season.
One of
on the
the
road.
three is Kansas. One of the 3 is Kansas State. So we got to.
Which I was going to say, I would humbly submit the October 4th road game at Houston as a substitute for that Kansas State game.
Sure. Sure.
So, yeah, lot to prove for Texas Tech. Certainly not a situation where they can afford to look past Utah, and I don't think they have to. I think they've got a bye week next week anyway, so they will have their full attention set on Utah. I know Utah is going to be higher ranked than Texas Tech. I don't think this is an upset one way or the other. I just think these are two maybe of the best teams in the Big 12, giving us a preview for Arlington. We would love to know who you're picking at 3Tech Pod. You can find us on all of our social media channels. Drop a comment down in the YouTube video as well.